Aloha one, aloha all. Michael here. Today I'm going to talk about physics. I am very interested in physics, as you may or may not know. And I am writing today, I am finishing up an article about gravity, one of my favorite topics. And I just wanted to kind of talk about motion. So we like to think about things as being real when we can determine our reality by what we observe. What we're really doing is perceiving information. Information does one thing: it enlightens you, it transforms your state of being, and it changes your reality. So, is the observation caused by the observer? That's the question, isn't it? So, really, every single thing that you observe requires one action, and that is the action of motion. So physics basically is the science of motion, the motion of particles, the motion of energy, the motion of planets, the motion of objects, and all of these things that we're studying in physics requires motion. And motion is only capable through the passage of space-time. So space-time is unified. The change in the position of an object in space requires the passage of time. So time is change. Time shows us how things move, how they grow, how they develop. So without motion, you have nothing. And it gets really, really interesting if you understand the basics of physics. So, speed is a scalar quantity which shows us how much distance is covered over a period of time. So, with that in mind, we can say that speed would be how we recognize the basic form of motion. So you're basically seeing or observing how something changes from point A to point B, and that's a one-dimensional spatial quantity, and it takes a certain amount of time for that thing that's moving to cover that distance. And once we know that, then we can look at determining if there's any change in the direction. So velocity is the change in direction, or it's the change of direction over the change of time. So that is what's called a vector quantity. And the change in position of a particle is called displacement. So velocity is basically the next level of motion. And instead of it being one-dimensional like speed, where you're just measuring the rate of change of distance over a period of time, velocity is basically two-dimensional because you can cover an area. And once you understand that, then you're ready to understand acceleration. Acceleration occurs when there's a change in velocity, whether it's the direction or the rate of speed. So acceleration is basically gravity. And once you understand that gravity is four-dimensional, it's the change of the position of a particle in three-dimensional space over a period of time, and time equals motion. Without time, there's no motion. So these are some things to think about, and I will leave you with this. If this information is interesting, seek out more information about it and message me if you have any questions. I love talking about this stuff. This was just kind of a foundation. Hopefully it made sense. I'm going to be finishing up my article soon, and if you go to the Sight Sound Spirit group and do a hashtag search for gravity, you'll find plenty of information. Also, I posted something that I did about a year ago talking about how motion is relative and based upon the perspective of the observer. So check that out, and you'll start to understand why your frame of reference or your perspective is basically how you are able to determine what is real and what is not. And don't worry if you are experiencing something that is just in your imagination, because that is your actual state of being. All right? I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have an awesome day.